It is party time. Welcome to Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Welcome back. Friday night, I will be in Oakmont, Pennsylvania. That's right. I'm coming back to Oakmont, Pennsylvania, the Oaks Theater. So if you are anywhere within the Pittsburgh area, Western Pennsylvania, hell, I don't care where you drive from. Drive up and drive down, drive around. Come on, come to the show. We had a heck of a weekend of shows this past weekend, and it's just always fun. So headed to Oakmont, then in 2 weeks I'll be in La Jolla, California. Jesse Payton and I will be at the Comedy Store for 3 nights, multiple shows each night. Come check us out if you are in Southern California. La Jolla is a good place to go, so come check us out. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. All right, you guys, remember we had a guest a couple of weeks ago. Well, you know what? Let's just play a clip and remind you about this guy. Play clip number 10.
Everyone's talking about Mitch McConnell having a stroke at the podium. He didn't have a stroke. No one sees the other camera angle. Luckily, I have exclusive footage, so watch this.
In cooperation and a string of
I don't want to burn in hell. I just don't like Mitch McConnell. It's like having a staring competition with an 81-year-old Franklin the Turtle.
Sky Corban, everybody, welcome to the show. All right, Sky, what's up, dog?
What's up,
dude?
Yeah, you picked a mean one. You
That's
picked a
good
mean
stuff,
clip. Yeah,
Dude, if it ain't mean, it ain't funny.
Right.
We got to be mocking and ridiculing. And
I had to go with a dinosaur clip.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sells.
Yeah, you
itself
had a lot
there.
of double meanings in there.
Yes, yeah.
Had a lot of. It's sort of like the we were just talking before we started here, the new Tyler Childers video, which I'm catching a lot of flack on social media because people don't pay attention. I don't know if you've been in this game for a minute doing this thing. You've built a big social media following. You put your commentary. It's amazing to me that people will read the caption you post without watching the video and then without any intelligence of what you said. They just go in and start commenting.
Yep.
You get that a lot?
Yep.
Yeah.
On that caption, I actually put, I had to go Jurassic because it explains why he's petrified, which was a terrible pun. But yeah.
Yeah, that 22-second stare down right there. Did they ever figure out what happened to Mitch?
They just said he was okay. So I figure if he's okay, it's fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, you know, he fell a couple of months ago and hit his head. And I'm convinced they keep these guys around. Like, I think they keep people like Chuck Grassley and Dianne Feinstein and these. I mean, there's old and then there's old. Yeah. Like the Babylon Bee said, and I'm totally stole their joke to use on stage, where they said, we're trying to, you know, when you're trying to decide if you want to put Grandpa in hospice or the Senate, that's what we're dealing with here.
I actually think they're the best writers in the game.
Oh, they're
Babylon
incredible.
Bee.
Yeah, they'll be on the show in a couple of weeks. They got a new book coming out called Babylon Bee's Guide to Gender. They sent me an advance digital copy because they wanted me to write an endorsement for the new book, which I was honored to do. And I thought my endorsement was pretty genius, but because I transitioned to a they, them as I'm writing the thing. And so they'll be on the show in a couple of weeks, but they are.
Yeah, I think because that short of a line makes me laugh and giggle for a super long time.
Yeah,
so if you can do it so briefly, it's great. You
jumped into this social media thing. We talked about this a few weeks ago. You were on Skype, though, so I'm glad you're in studio because now we get to hang out. And for those of you watching, many of you who are Blaze TV fans, you've already watched us in the episode before on the News of Why It Matters with Sarah Gonzalez. So now we get to just chill and hang out. How'd you get started in this whole thing? Just running your mouth, and people ask me all the time, like, how'd you get started with this?
Right. I went to school for computer science for one, and then so logic was included in that. You have to take logic because it relates. And so arguments have always come natural to me. And I got sick of it. I got sick of hearing bad arguments. I got sick of people explaining why things were stupid, but not, like they would just say things were stupid, but they wouldn't explain why it was stupid. Yeah. It's like, you agree that it's stupid? Yeah, I agree it's stupid, but tell me why. Break down why this is bad and how it doesn't make sense. And so I started doing that in increments, and I've always liked comedy too, so I kind of blend the two, and I took off. It helped. Yep.
It's good stuff. I like your content. I found your content months and months ago, And I was like, all right, let's, because stuff would just pop up. And why yours popped up on mine, I don't know, but I liked it. And I was like, then I started looking for it.
Right.
And I was like, I like this content. Then you and I connected, and I was like, this is solid stuff.
Well, it's that sternness with a little bit of smirk.
Yeah.
You know, and so we relate in that regard. We're also both extremely professional.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's,
yeah, 100%.
That's sarcasm.
Talking about sarcasm, though, back to that Tyler Childers video. And you haven't seen that video, right?
I have not.
There's no need to see the video. The song is fantastic. The song is great, which Tyler Childers is an incredible songwriter. But he makes a video that is about two gay coal miners in 1950s Appalachia. Right?
That old story?
Yeah. I mean,
do you call
two
that
gay guys digging in a dark hole, you know?
Right. Oh,
Chad,
yeah.
it's the sequel to Brokeback Mountain, but it's Brokeback Mining.
Brokeback Mining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I made a satire video where I said, kudos to Tyler Childers for making a video that really pushes the coal industry, and also the lengths we've taken to get, professional, personal protection in that industry, because one of the guys gets black lung, and who knew that getting black lung, one of the side effects was, you want to kiss other men.
I did.
Yeah.
I knew that.
And that's what I'm blaming my gay stuff on, is the black lung. So I have people who are mad at me because they're like, my father was a coal miner, and it's like, take it easy, Karen.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people in Congress heard there was a music video about sex with minors, but they took the wrong. They all
right
tuned
there.
in, but
that right there, they totally. That's why the thing went viral.
yeah, it went viral. They were like, "Oh, that's in my alley."
That's a great bit too, because everybody's saying, "Oh, this is the pushback against Jason Aldean." No, listen. When Tyler Childers made this video, I promise you, he had no clue what Jason Aldean's video was going to be.
Right.
It takes a long
while.
time.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of planning that goes into putting out a multi-million-dollar production. And so they said, oh, see, release that. This is a pushback against Jason Aldean. It's like, that's the dumbest logic. And so many people on Twitter kept saying, oh, I can't wait to see your reaction to the, and I was like, no, they had to make that video about the 1950s, because the reaction and the persecution they got, maybe it would have happened in the 1950s, but people in 21st century America really don't give a shit.
We don't care. We make funny jokes that don't mean anything about it. We're not poking fun at it. We're just having fun with it.
We don't, okay, so two dudes hooked up. Okay, we've seen it. You've pushed it. I mean, like you brought up, we were talking before, the show Schitt's Creek. Like, we've seen it.
We've seen it.
Brokeback Mountain, we've seen it. I mean, I saw Brokeback Mountain. I was bored one day, and
I watched it twice today.
I need a refresher course.
Right.
Which, by the way, was a good movie in terms of, what it was. Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh my God, it's gay. Well, I mean, you watch movies about murder and violence and sex and all kind of.
Will and Grace was on forever, and it was like the #1 show for. No one cares.
No one cared. No one cared. So I get it. I mean, but people are pushing back because, oh, there's gratuitous, and it's like, look, you guys are picking your sins. I get it. I'm not defending the thing. I understand the messaging, but people these days in 21st century America, I don't care if you're a conservative or a liberal or whatever, it's like, whatever. The pushback against the Jason Aldean thing was stupid.
Yeah, it didn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
They ended up being racist, saying it was about black people when he just didn't want crime in his small town.
Right.
You speculating is what was the racism.
Yeah, if you hear that song, read those lyrics, you think of a black person.
Right. You're the racist. Yeah, it's obvious.
So, and so many people were like, I don't think you people even watched the Jason Aldean video, because 99% of the clips are white people.
Yeah, they're white. Yeah.
So
was Antifa.
Yeah.
So
they were Antifa riots. They weren't even really BLM riots. Right. And by the way, most of the BLM rallies that I saw, I was at one in Tulsa. I was there. I didn't go to the thing, but it came through while we were there, the little parade, and it was like 500 people. There was literally only one black person in the entire crowd, and he wasn't even full black. So, I mean, BLM was nothing but white guilt.
It was white guilt, and it was Marxist. It was just Marxist agenda. Yeah. That's all it was. Yeah. And everybody wants to separate it. Well, I'm not talking about the organization. And you remember when it all went through. It was black squares on everybody's page. I'm an ally of black square. You're not going to fix racism by posting a black square. Right. Let me explain why. What's your least favorite food? What's something you can't stand?
Brussels sprouts.
Okay. If everybody posted pictures of Brussels sprouts, you're just going to hate them more.
I'm just going to hate them more. Because now you're throwing it in my face.
Right. So if you're a racist and you're just throwing up black squares all the time, I'm just going to make it hate it more.
Yeah.
It doesn't fix it. It makes it worse.
Yeah. And that's what we mean when we say you're cramming things down people's throats.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, when you keep putting the pride flag out there, or you put some gratuitous sex scene out there, or you're putting transgenders story hour in front of kids and all this crap, after a while, when you keep pushing it, it's like, yeah, you're kind of making us a little more outspoken about the fact that we don't like it.
You know, you're right. I remember I used to watch cartoons when I was a kid like everybody else, but do you remember the Pine Sol lady? She would come on.
Yeah.
It was a commercial that came on every day. I ended up hating that Pine Sol lady for no reason. It just was thrown in my face all the time.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at a kid and there's a big red button over there on the table or whatever, and you're like, you tell that kid, don't push that button. Don't push that button. Don't push that. That kid's going to go push that button. Like, you keep throwing it on there, and it's putting it in their face. They're going to react somehow. And it ain't going to be by just ignoring it.
No. People rebel naturally.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's the whole thing. I don't care. You know, I can choose to listen to a Tyler Childers song and actually like the song, but I get it. I mean, dude, you made a bold move of alienating 50% of your base out there as a country music guy.
He picked something that's so rare in the 50s anyway. It wasn't something that was going on all the time. It's everywhere now.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Yeah.
Like, literally, who cares?
So they depict these two guys, and they're making out in the woods, right? And I mean, I'm watching the video, and it's a tearjerker video, right? I mean, it's like, okay, here's a love story. One of the guys eventually dies, and it's a sad deal. And they see him making out in the woods, and they're all covered in coal soot, and I mean, they're really going at it. And I'm like, my problem with this image is they're sucking coal soot off it. No wonder he got black lung.
Yeah. Black lung, black tongue.
I mean, you're licking the coal off the guy's face.
Yeah.
And I mean, and no one had a problem with the fact that they were in blackface.
Yeah, no one had a problem.
No.
It's acceptable.
It pushes the coal industry.
No.
And there's blackface.
Yeah. It's acceptable in that? I don't think so.
Exactly.
I'm boycotting it. That's the racist video.
That's racist.
It wasn't Jason Aldean.
No.
It's Tyler Childers.
Tyler Childers had more black people, fake black people in his video than Jason Aldean did.
Right.
So I'm watching this thing, and then the next scene is one of the guys getting beat up by some of the other coal miners for being gay or whatever. In all seriousness, right now, if I saw that happening, I don't care if you're gay, straight, black, white, fat, skinny, male, female, identify yourselves he, him, she, her, they, them, she's, I don't give a shit. I'll defend you.
Me too.
I'll come
Same.
break the fight up.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to let you get the shit. Now, in 1950s America, Appalachian America, you might have seen some of that.
Yeah.
Unlike Joe Biden, who said, oh, I saw two guys kissing when I was a kid. My dad said, you just love who you love.
Yeah.
Bullshit, Joe.
Yeah. He knows. He remembers well. He's got an impeccable memory.
He remembers everything.
Yeah. He's
got a story, got an antidote for it all. And he's been everywhere. He's done everything. He's basically every nationality. He's Polish, he's Jewish, he's Puerto Rican.
He's went to every
He's
college.
black. All of them.
He graduated from all of them.
Top of his class. Top of his class every time. Yeah. And he was a professor. Yeah. All right, got to take a quick break. Listen, guys, Barrel Buddy, I was cleaning some guns this past weekend because that's what I do. That's my meditation. And I pulled out some of my packages of stuff that I normally use to clean guns. And I was like, it's been so long since I've used like the patches or the bore snake or anything like that. I just tossed them. I was like, I don't need that anymore because I've got the best solution with Barrel Buddy. So Barrel Buddy compresses to fill the interior of your gun's barrel. It cleans the rifling grooves. It comes in all the different sizes to match any caliber firearm. And it's composed of polymers that aren't going to leave behind the residual particles like those patches or bore snakes do. So it's a safer concept. So it scrubs, it collects the particulates, it absorbs the remaining residue, it buffs the interior surface clean. You can even lubricate your firearm while you're cleaning it. So it's an important step in being a responsible gun owner. You got to clean your guns, and Barrel Buddy's a new concept that's a better way to take care of your firearm. So I want you to get them if you have not done so already. And if you have, go get some more. I guarantee you're going to love them. Go to barrelbuddy.com. That's barrelbuddy.com. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Look at the mothership over here. Look at the control panel over there. Brandon, put a camera on you guys over there. Can you got that thing? Flip it over there. See, I'm testing you right now. We got you guys. See, George is kind of taking the back seat now because we got a lot of stuff going on. Look at all the Mexicans we got in this room.
I know. Just when we got rid of Chris.
Got to close that border. I know. Pee-wee Herman died, man.
I know. He's up in heaven jacking off in front of the angels now.
Oh, wow. That was a good one.
Too soon. Paul Reubens, Pee-wee Herman. We'll never know if there's a basement in the Alamo.
Nope.
Andy! Paul Reubens, dude. When I was a kid, I guess I was, middle school, something like that, when Pee-wee's Big Adventure came out.
That was one of my favorite movies growing up.
I didn't, it was such adult humor that I didn't get it. I watched 30 minutes of it when I was in, 8th grade and left. 7th or 8th grade. I don't know what year it was, but I was like, I don't understand what's going on with this. It's stupid.
Surprisingly, I was a big Pee-wee Herman fan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
His later years.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. The stuff he did in the adult theater.
Right, yeah, those years.
No, and did he have cancer or what was it? Yeah? And then Randy Meisner, who sang the high notes for the Eagles, he passed away last week. He was 77, and he was a nut. Randy was a nut. I think he murdered his wife, allegedly. He just couldn't prove it.
I think that's a little bit more than a nut. When I hear murdered his wife, I don't think that guy's a nut.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of speculation
dude.
out there. They tried to prove it, but I don't think they ever could. But anyway, you got these 70s and 80s icons are dropping dead. Sinead O'Connor passed away.
Yep.
Of course, she didn't pass away. I think she killed herself.
Did she?
I think she killed herself.
I
don't know. I didn't keep following up on that. But usually when they say has died,
right,
that's usually a sign that, they committed suicide. Typically not of, you kind of
Plus
just
she was
see
pretty young.
The verbiage.
Right?
She's only 56.
Right.
I mean, I'm 50, so yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say she was pretty young. I thought she was older than that, honestly. But
I did too.
So
because she had to be real, Nothing Compares had to be really young when she was singing that.
Very young, maybe 19 years old, kind of thing. Because that thing came out, and
she also did the Pope thing, right?
The Pope thing on Saturday Night Live, where she ripped up the picture of the Pope. And Rob Schneider, who's a friend of the Blaze, he's been here, and he made a pretty interesting post about that, because he was on Saturday Night Live, and he said just none of the sketches. He said we were changing costumes, getting ready for a sketch, and she ripped the thing of the Pope. He said we came back out and we could tell the audience had just changed. We didn't know what had happened.
Right.
He said, but just there were no laughs. Nothing. Nobody could find their place. He said, and I didn't find out till after we wrapped that night that had happened.
Live TV.
Yeah, live TV.
You never know.
So it shut people down. But again, if that were to happen today, it wouldn't affect the audience at all.
No, not at all. It's like the whole Gone with the Wind when he said "damn" and the women were fainting in the theater, and then now that doesn't mean anything. It's just we're getting so much worse as the years go on, where nothing affects you.
Yeah, you just kind of got a seared conscience.
Actually, it's reversed. If you think about it, things that shouldn't affect you now are overblown, and oh my goodness, I can't believe you did that, which wasn't anything. And then the actual extreme things, no one cares.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just backwards.
It's true. I go back to that Tyler Childers video, which, again, I've been in the entertainment industry for over a decade now, really longer than that. I've been around a lot of gay people. And, I mean, I've had them work with me, work for me. We got people here at the Blaze. I mean, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I taught ballroom dance for a little bit. There is 0 gays in ballroom dance. Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah. I'm kidding. I
took ballroom dance for a little while, and that was where I did a lot of gay shit. Ironically enough, that's where I did a lot of gay shit. Fred Astaire my ass.
Right.
Yeah. Fred Astaire. Oh, I'm dropping these bombs.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
So your home is Lexington, Kentucky.
It is.
And but you played music.
I did in Nashville for a long time.
Yeah.
Played for some artists. I try not to mention them just because I'm conservative and I don't want to kill their career.
Yeah.
So
know that feeling.
Yeah. And so I wrote for a lot of artists too, and I leave them out of it. But music was my first set hook in my life. Grew up a prodigy. Older I got, the less I was a prodigy.
Yeah.
You know.
I understand that. We're going out. I was telling you, we're taping. We're going to record 6 songs for an EP that we're going to put out this fall. And Chris Wallen and I have written a lot of songs. And then we've collaborated with some other big songwriters. And we're going to be recording at the Castle in Franklin, Tennessee, which is an amazing studio. And you get those, anytime I'm in studio and you're with those studio musicians, it's mind-blowing.
They're very good.
It's mind-blowing.
People underestimate how good they are.
It's insane. I remember when we did my album in 2020, Y'all Shut Up, and we put 8 songs on there, original songs on there. These guys had never heard anything. They'd never heard anything. You hand them, the paper with the charts on there, and they cut 8
crystal
tracks.
Clear, nail it.
They went through it twice and was like, yeah, the second one was the take, and I mean that was it. We did 8 tracks in one day.
What's
Insane.
really cool, I mean, they do get a lot of similar songs.
Sure,
because it's the process of the cookie cutterness, but still, they're unbelievable how perfect.
Chris calls me the other day and he goes, I don't want to do a fiddle on this song. He goes, do you want dobro or lap steel? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, I like them both. Right. I mean, you figure it out. I mean, because you could fool me if I'm listening to a dobro. Right. Yeah, if you're listening to a dobro or a lap steel, like just to my ear, I probably don't know which is which because they sound the same to me in a lot of ways. So I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. These people fascinate me. Let me just write the jokes and the songs and the fun stuff, and we'll go do it. But anyway, so it's going to be a fun process. But Joe Biden. No, let's start before Joe Biden. Let's talk about the Devon Archer thing, because Devon Archer testified today. They didn't film it. It was behind closed doors. This was Hunter Biden's best friend and business partner. Mm-hmm. And he says they're going to put the transcripts out. But basically he said, yeah, there's a lot of times when Joe Biden was on speakerphone and I mean, what's going to happen with this thing? I mean, are you keeping up with any of that at all?
I keep up with the wording. It's so funny to me. They're always like this bombshell.
Yeah.
We need some powder.
Yeah.
In the shell.
Shrapnel.
Yeah, we need something in there. I'm sick of the bombshell. Let's just the song wasn't she dropped the bombshell on me.
Yeah.
There's the bomb.
Yeah.
So no one's getting anything done to them with all these bombshells. I'm ready for it to be the bomb.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, if I had any power whatsoever, the plea deal would include $10 million of taxpayer-funded money. You're free to go, amnesty. You can commit more crimes just as long as you have evidence of corruption.
Right.
And everybody would go along with that. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because it's collateral damage. Like, as soon as you know that people get amnesty and get $10 million, then you're not doing corruption anymore. I'll get told on.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's taken so long just to get someone to say, this is what happened, this is where it is.
And nobody doubts it.
No, we all know the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for him, and it's funny, the White House and Karine Jean-Pierre the other day said, I haven't changed my verbiage at all. Yeah, you have. Because what they said was, he said in 2019, I have never talked to my son about any of his business dealings. Now what they're saying is, well, Joe was never involved in his businesses. He wasn't part of those businesses. You're changing the whole meaning of everything.
It's going to get down to the point where they admit dementia just so he can be like, I don't remember.
They'll pull a Ronald Reagan with the Iran-Contra deal, and they say, well, he couldn't remember.
Right.
He couldn't
That's
remember.
Exactly what's going to happen, because it's always just moving the goalposts with them.
It will be. Mm-hmm. See, and I go back to this Tyler Childers video. All right? Here's the perfect example.
Right.
Perfect example of everybody coming out saying, oh, look at you guys being so offended at the Tyler Childers thing. And it's like, no, literally no one was talking about it. You guys set it up to do, and so they're doing
projecting the offense.
They're doing this thing with the Biden thing. It's like, oh, you guys are just trying to hide Trump. Y'all don't want to deal with Trump and all of his indictments. Joe Biden hadn't had anything. It's like, well, no shit, he hadn't had anything because y'all won't do it.
You won't admit to anything. You just say it's made up.
Yeah.
People come out far more often against Biden than they do Trump.
Right.
It's only them coming out against Trump, but it's everybody else coming out against Biden. They're, oh, you can't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Because it's not us.
It's insane. So we'll see what will happen with this Devon Archer thing. The DOJ was actually, let me see if I can find this deal. The DOJ was actually pushing for Devon Archer to go to prison before the House Oversight Committee testimony. So, I mean, there's no doubt about it. They've weaponized the Department of Justice at this point.
See, yeah, that's exactly the opposite of what I said do. I said give them whatever it takes to stop corruption and free to go. And they're like, no, let's put him in prison.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of You want to stop corruption. You don't want to encourage it.
Yeah, these guys don't, though. They don't want to stop it. They want to make sure they protect it. I mean, look at the Republicans and the Democrats both that are pushing to continue sending money and everything to ramp up war in Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, it's a moneymaker for them. And they know that it's a money laundering
Speaking
scheme.
of Mitch, I'm going back to Mitch McConnell. The Babylon Bee one about the moment of silence for Ukraine was so good on Mitch McConnell. That was one of my favorite ones.
I shared Joe Rogan's meme. I don't know if he made it. I doubt it, but he shared it, and I shared his from his page where it says, when you say these gummies ain't shit, and 40 minutes later.
He just staring for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, guys, there's a podcast I think you guys will like. You already know how wild the world has gotten. People turn the truth upside down all the time. Kids are being misled. Marriages are falling apart. The Christian values that held this country together are going out the window. So there is a way to share God's truth more than ever. That's what the podcast Refocus with Jim Daly is all about. Jim Daly is the president of Focus on the Family. If you don't know about Focus on the Family, it's time to take a look at them. They're a great organization, great Christian organization. They've been helping families follow their faith for over 40 years, and Jim Daly has been the president for almost 20 years. He's helped millions of people share the truth, so he knows his stuff. On the Refocus podcast, Jim talks to other experts about things you probably deal with all the time. Sharing your faith in a cancel culture, dealing with woke politics, all the fun stuff. So go check out Refocus with Jim Daly on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. Refocus with Jim Daly. We'll be right back. You walked in the studio a little while ago and I saw those shoes. I was like, I like them boots, but they're not boots.
They're not boots.
They're like slippers.
Yeah, I
need to start wearing those.
I have a shoe guy in Nashville.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I need to talk to that shoe guy.
He's got some good ones. They're amazing.
I'll be there at the end of August.
Yeah.
Hook me up.
I got you.
Because I get older I get, the less I want to put a boot on.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
I don't
and
want
then when
to
the jeans go down, it's like you can't tell. You
No.
can't tell. Yeah.
No, I've got some guys in the Western industry that for years, and they'll wear that stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not pulling a boot back on. I've been rodeoing for 50 years. I'm not putting a boot back on." But they'll put on a little thing.
You still get the point.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And I get the gout sometimes. God forbid, I get the gout, and I don't want to put the boot on.
Is this another ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not
when I do get the gout, this is what I take.
You sell supplements, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that. Tell everybody about that.
So I got involved into fitness, loved fitness. It kind of saved my life. I was depressed for a little bit. Won't get into that. But yeah, and then joined a gym, got into supplements, became a sponsored athlete with a company called NutriShop. Mm-hmm. And then they took me under their wing, and then opened up one myself. And then now I just do it online because of my following. It's just so much easier to not have a brick and mortar that you have to take care of and pay expenses on.
I tell people all the time, because people say, "Oh, for years." I've heard it for 10 years. You're a sellout when I start pushing something, and I'm like, no, it's actually something I use. You might like it, and I may make some money off of it as well, because believe it or not,
that's called a job.
Yeah, believe it or not, nobody's ever paid me for sitting in my truck and running my mouth.
Right.
I have to go to places like Pittsburgh and do a live show, and
so that actually happened to me. I started my Instagram, and I didn't have very many followers in the beginning. Then I got a bunch of followers, and I was like, well, now that I have a bunch of followers, I'll just sell my supplements that I sell anyway. Yeah. And people are like, you sold out. I was like, they're mine.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
I've had people for years, because I've always had the apparel companies, whether 76forever.com or realwomensclub.com. Mm-hmm. And I put that up, and they're like, oh, so all he cares about is selling T-shirts. I've been selling T-shirts for 30 years. Mm-hmm. I've doing it when I was in college.
Right.
I love selling T-shirts. Always have. Always had some kind of apparel going. And so people are like, oh, you're a sellout. What was it that I did recently? Oh, when I signed with Based Records. You're a sellout. Am I?
Right.
I don't think so.
I've been a gigolo forever. And then now that it's like, you have to stop. I'm like, what? It's natural. But whatever.
I mean, I'm pimping myself out. I'd like to get a little recognition.
Right.
Pad the pocket a little bit. And what's funny is they're like, oh, you sold out, you got bought. I was like, no, actually, they haven't paid me a dime. I wouldn't take up front money from Based.
No, I got this comment that told me the other day. I remember specifically. It said, you just like running your mouth to pay your bills. And I said, no, I just like paying my bills.
Yeah.
You don't even have to put the first part.
Yeah, just send me the money.
I just like to pay my bills.
I've said forever. I was doing twice last week. I was somewhere and somebody came up and they were like, are you famous? And I was like, I'm not famous, but I do have a following. And so that following thinks I'm famous, but I'm not famous.
That happens to me.
And I'm like, if here's the thing, like, if you want to pay me, that's fine. You can have the famous. I don't care anything about that.
Nope.
I can go into obscurity, do
I
my
would
thing.
prefer it.
Actually, I would too. The older I get,
Right.
the more I just want to be like, you give me the money And I don't have to go to Pittsburgh this weekend.
Correct.
I don't have to go to California next weekend. I don't have to go do all these things. And so, but I love doing what I do.
Oh yeah.
But every now and then,
the more I do
like
it,
to chill.
The more I do it, it gets extreme. And it's like the mental exhaustion is insane.
Yeah.
Just having to come up and
So you
concepts all the
feel
time.
what I felt for years, because people, they'll see me and they'll say, man, we really miss those truck videos. I said, well, I still do them at least once a week, but nobody sees them. Nobody sees them because of the censorship is so bad. They just throttle everything. But you also get to a point where you just kind of run out of things to say. It's like, okay, one more lap. What am I supposed to do? Another video about transgenderism? Am I supposed to do? How much can I tell you?
How many times can I say it doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
How many times can I say that?
I mean, okay, so we got a story here where, Italy banned transgenders from getting into women's beauty pageants.
Seems to make sense.
And then 100 transgenders showed up and entered the contest.
Which I find that stat high.
That's pretty high.
Does that mean all?
All of them, like every tranny in Italy,
showed up,
took their package.
That's a high number right there.
Yeah, that's a high number. That's exactly what I said when I read the deal, and I was like, well, okay. And then there was a Democrat lawmaker, Steve Cohen. Of course, it had to be a guy. He's a Democrat, and is an unashamed supporter of gender-affirming care and trans rights, which that means mutilating children.
Yeah.
But on Thursday, he inadvertently made an argument supporting a division between locker rooms for biological women and trans women. They chewed him up, spit him out.
Of course, for one, you're openly admitting they're different by even offering it.
Yeah.
If you're saying we're going to add cubicles, then they're not women.
Right. If you got to separate it,
then just let them go to the other bathroom.
I mean, you talked about being a gym rat, being into fitness. I've been a gym rat at times in my life. I don't, these old guys, the older guys get in the gym, they just like to walk around naked in the locker room. I don't understand why you
I haven't made it to that point yet.
But those old guys do.
I'm excited
those
when I get there.
Old guys walk around, they got the little mushroom cap and these giant balls hanging down and the big fat flabs. And it's like, you got the picture of Joe at the beach. You got the picture of Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
This picture right here will disturb you right here. There's Joe. He's got the Ray-Bans on. He's got the hat turned around backwards, sneakers on the beach. There's like two frowns happening here. There's the frown on his face and the frown on his belly. Like his belly's as grumpy as his face is. If you see this,
I just like the Forrest Gump pose.
I mean, solid, right?
Yeah,
like he's on the back of the boat.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to do this. Yeah.
No, I'm like, okay, so I see guys like this at the gym walking around with their giblets out. They don't try to hide it at all. So I wouldn't mind if those guys had a partition either. Like even if I'm in there with other biological guys, let's use some. Cubicles. I don't want to see your shit. So, I never forget, I had a buddy of mine who was a trainer at a gym here in DFW. And there was this guy who kept coming up to me at the gym. This was years ago. The guy kept coming up to me. He's like, man, why don't you come over to my house, man? We can run. We can work out over at my place or whatever. And I was like, why? Why? And my trainer friend goes, well, he's gay, man. He's hitting on you. And I was like, nah, he's not gay. And then I'm coming out of the shower, got the towel wrapped around me, and this guy's standing there. He just, shink, you hear the curtain open up, and he's standing there butt naked, and he's just soaping his junk. Seriously, dude, I want you to come over to the house, man. Come over to the house. And I was like, yeah, okay, I see what's happening now. And I'm like, yeah, well, I could use more partitions.
Yes.
So I can't imagine
Well, you had one. He ripped it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was little soapy. And I'm sitting there going, if I'm a biological female,
and you hear that shink.
Yeah, like I don't want to see Mr. Soapy.
No, you don't.
I don't want to see any of it.
Yeah, that Riley Gaines, that's her whole, no one warned them.
Right.
And then just bam, right there.
And imagine being a biological male. You're a biological male. Like William Thomas, Leah Thomas, is a grifter. I mean, he did that whole thing to get his,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he won one race by 50 freaking seconds. That's not competition.
We had never heard of William Thomas.
Right.
And we wouldn't have.
Right.
But now you have, because that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's literally all it takes.
So he's not a guy who's legitimately dealing with gender dysphoria. He comes in there, and he's specifically androgynophilia. Maybe he gets turned on by dressing up like a woman and exposing himself to women, like the video of the guy with the heart on that kept...
I did 2 of those. A fan sent me, they went to a club, a fan sent me a video of them in a club in New Jersey. And he did it again. Same skirt.
Same deal.
Different bathroom.
Same red skirt. Yep. Same boner.
Same erection, different bathroom.
Yeah, I saw it. It's two different ones.
Right.
It's androgonophilia. You're getting turned on. It's like these dudes that are wanting to chest feed babies and children.
Yeah,
that's another form of pedophilia.
It is. I mean, it's a
They're
baby
getting
that's
off
not
on
getting anything from that.
Right.
It's just you are getting something from that,
Yeah.
which is wrong.
And then you're going to fight for that. So this guy, this Democrat lawmaker, he says, yeah, maybe we ought to have some partitions. Well, shit, you just violated your argument right there.
Right. Because we'd have one. It's called men's and women's.
Yeah, like there's whole other rooms.
Right. That's the partition. It's a big concrete wall.
Yeah, I was at, God, where was I? I was at I guess it was a club or something. I don't really go to clubs, but it was a bar. And I go in the bathroom, and in a lot of places in Texas and stuff, they just have a trough. There's no urinal.
I
It's
hate
just
those.
I'm not a fan of them either.
Yeah, I hate those.
And this guy dressed up like a woman comes in and stands right beside me, about a foot or two away, and is taking a piss standing there in the trough. And I'm like, okay. And this guy, I'm just paying attention to me. I'm focusing on my spot on the wall, trying to piss. And the guy goes, does this bother you? And I was like, what? I mean, at least you're in the men's room.
Right. It's true.
So kudos.
Well, I did a quick video. I did a quick video of the whole boys in the locker room with the peephole to the girls' locker room, and they peep in, and it's like, oh no, it's not what I thought anymore. It's like the old Porky's thing, but it's not.
Oh my God, it's a little soapy.
Yeah, it's a little soapy in there.
Oh man, now that we're in the thick of summer, you might be looking for some wholesome, convenient meals to support those sunny, active days. I love Factor meals. They are America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, and pretty much one of the only ones out there, especially as good as it is. They'll fuel you up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You're going to save time. You're going to eat well. You're going to stay on track reaching your goals as well. So if you're busy with summer plans and you don't really want to spend time cooking, make sure you're still eating well. And with Factor, you can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and all the chopping, prepping, cleaning up as well. So you still get the flavorful and nutritional quality you need. So their fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat it and enjoy it, and then get back outside and soak up the warm weather. So this July and into this August, you're going to be able to get, because we're at the end of July, but you're going to be able to get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. So choose your meals. Enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in 2 minutes. No mess. Head over to factormeals.com/Chad50. Then I'll get you 50% off if you use code Chad50. That's code Chad50 at factormeals.com/Chad50. We'll be right back. Let's you pull these things, Brandon. Well, before we go to that clip, Bill Barr, y'all see the statement where he said that if Donald Trump wins the GOP nomination, he's going to jump off a bridge?
Yeah.
So what, Bill?
Right. Capsize.
So what? People like that make me sick. Chris Cruz. Chris Cruz is always like, Bill Barr's going to be near here. Do you want him to come into the studio and be a guest on the show? And I was like, no. I don't want to talk to Bill Barr.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, why?
To me, I think you remember the show Roseanne? I always thought he looked like the husband and Roseanne.
John Goodman mixed with Roseanne Barr.
At the same time, yeah.
It's like, no. But anyway, so all these folks are saying, oh, they're not going to endorse him in 2024. This is a shit show, man.
Yeah, it was like get in line.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I get sick of hearing
this next year is going to be insane. They're not going to let Joe Biden run. We'll see what happens with all these indictments with Trump. And
I hear this argument from a lot of people on that. It's like, I would vote for Trump, but I just don't really like what it does to the left and how they get riled up and all this stuff. And I just kind of want that drama. It doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter who it is.
Doesn't matter.
They're going to do the same thing. They don't have Trump to look at, so it's just going to scoot over to whoever it is. So don't base your argument on that.
Well, one of the things that I've said on this show over and over again, and people have heard me say it a couple of times, and that is, let's say it was Ron DeSantis becomes the deal. Their whole phrase, if he gains any momentum, is he's worse. They just add 2 words, he's worse than Trump. And they've already started doing that. They've done it on The View. They've done it on
Florida. Like, if they're doing it with Florida and stuff like that, then they're just going to do it when he's president.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. I mean, so whoever the candidate is, I mean, they used to crucify George W. Bush so hard. I mean,
Right, he was on their team.
Yeah, and he was one of them.
Right.
And that's part of the game. I mean, you guys have to realize you're watching wrestling. I mean, when we were kids, we knew wrestling was fake, and we still watched it. Basically,
there's some
at this
real
point,
elements,
Yeah.
But it's fake.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, at least with the wrestling, there's some athleticism that goes into it.
I would actually think wrestling's more real.
Yeah, more real. I mean, at least they're doing something. These political hacks, I mean, my God, dude. Canada. Canada is a place that always gives you good material. Play clip number 1, please.
Tanse. My name is Lois, and I am a sterilized First Nations person of Treaty 6, living on reserve in Alberta, and I am also a post-op transsexual of 14 years. We must have honest conversations about the dark side of transition. We must talk about detransitioners and their stories. And my story. From a regretful transition to medical assistance and dying, I feel like I have contributed to the genocide of my people. I am more than a statistic. I am more than the color of my skin. I am more than your idea of what a BIPOC trans person should be. Soon I will be another dead Indian, but until then, I am here to share my story.
So let me get this straight, Brandon.
That was a confusing one.
That's a biological male that identifies as a female and wants to be euthanized by the Canadian government.
Correct.
And they denied the request.
This is apparently the only person in Canada they won't kill.
Yeah, they won't kill.
They need the percentage.
It's weird, dude.
Is that why?
I don't know. Like, I can't unpack that one because I'm trying to figure that one out because they'll kill anybody in Canada.
Right.
I mean, if you're depressed, whatever, they want to depopulate.
Yeah.
But was it because of the transition that she wanted to?
If I was going to be tinfoil hat, I could say they don't want trans people killing themselves after the surgery to
Which
prove.
is what you're saying.
Right.
It might not have helped.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always still the old-fashioned way, but I guess Canada just doesn't want it on their books.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that's a tough one.
That's tough.
It was already confusing to listen to, but it was, and to look at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really? Sometimes, like, I'm looking at this little monitor over here. I have to look over at the big monitor back over there sometimes to see what I'm looking at, especially when they put the transgenders up there, because I'm like, okay, sometimes they can fake it pretty well, but then the voice gives it away.
Comes in, yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, that's a guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's a guy.
Really nice frames, though.
Yeah.
She had good frames.
100%. Yeah. And I'm watching and I'm going, okay, I'm hearing what's going on. So this person's not happy with themselves.
No.
At all.
But I don't know. So the detransition part was the confusing part in that. Were they wanting to detransition?
Yeah, that's my question.
They were, but then didn't want to detransition because I don't know. That was very confusing.
That's right there, though. That's where, like, I would love to hear more from this person, simply because I think that might be legit dysphoria that you're dealing with, not the transgender, as I call it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a person really struggling with some mental issues.
But you also have to look, the crazier this climbs, the more of that you're going to see. The more of the even more crazy you're going to see.
Well, if you want to kill yourself after going through this thing, again, Chloe Cole, who I want to get Chloe Cole on this show at some point in time, who detransitioned, who was a girl and then became a boy.
Yeah, girl transitioned to a boy.
And now she's a girl again?
Yes.
And went back because when she was a kid, her testimony is she started hitting puberty and she wasn't comfortable with herself in puberty. And so the doctor said you can have a dead daughter or a transgender son. And so put that guilt on the parents, and they went through it. And she said, looking back, I just wasn't comfortable in puberty. Like, boys were noticing me. I wasn't comfortable with that.
Yep.
So rather than processing her through what she was really dealing with, they were like, lop the genitals off.
Well, that whole Vanderbilt thing that got released was like they were talking literally about having customers for life if you get them early.
Yeah.
You have them forever, which is the medical field disaster. You can't treat people like that.
Yeah.
But they've done that with everything. They did that with psych meds too. I mean, every 16-year-old thinks it's in the world and they put them on Prozac. So, I mean,
yeah, Ritalin, Adderall, Prozac, the whole
every
thing.
kid thinks it's the end of the world. Why? That's not crazy.
Yeah.
That's normal.
I mean, my
kid has trouble with attention. Yeah, he's a kid.
He's a kid. I've that's why I've always said, like, my girlfriend, you know, she'll talk about her kids sometimes. She's like, they're so wild. And I've said it my entire adult life. I was like, you give me a kid that's climbing the walls, I'll take that kid and change the world. But kids over there sniffing crayons and eating glue, I can't do much with that kid. Like, I can't.
Right.
Picking boogers and, you know, eating them. I can't do much with that kid. But you give me a wild one and I'll do something with them.
Yeah. But you notice the trend. But you notice the trend. It's the same thing with the transgenderism. It's like, get them young.
Yeah.
Get them young, get them young, get them young. And it tends to be the trait because there's no money in providing
exactly.
medical
and if they can do
anything to the elderly because
if they can put them on the blockers. Hey, what block are we in, by the way?
We're in D block.
We're in D block?
Yep.
Okay, good. We got to go to a deal. But if they can get them younger than the puberty, then they really got them.
Of course.
They really got them. All right. Hey, Patriots, listen, I want to tackle a critical issue that's been eating away at the heart of our great nation, and that is the systematic erosion of traditional masculinity. Put a stop to it, folks. It's a dangerous trend. Take back your rightful place as a proud, strong American man. So I want to introduce you to a powerful solution, the Black Forest Testo Stack. That's right. It is an all-powerful American testosterone supplement stack harnessing the might of the turkesterone, the Sistanch, and the Tongat Ali. I mess those up all the time. And they'll help you take back your masculinity and fight the feminization epidemic. And man, it is happening. Listen, testosterone and turkesterone, it's a potent natural anabolic compound. It supports muscle growth, enhances endurance, bolsters your testosterone levels, and then the other herbs which are known to improve sexual function and vitality. And you got to be taking stuff like this that helps your system get back on top. Listen, stuff like that has been used for centuries to elevate testosterone levels, boost libido, relieve stress. They're great. So Black Forest Testo Stack, I'm telling you, it's effective. I've experienced significant improvements in my own energy level, strength, and overall well-being. And if you're like me, you want to support a brand that stands up for traditional American values and doesn't push the leftist agenda, and bring back American traditional masculinity. And you can try it. Get a 10% discount if you use promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad. BlackForestSupplements.com/Chad. Reclaim your birthright as a strong, capable American man. BlackForestSupplements.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. We'll be right back. All right, at @TheTruth_Sky Corban.
It's actually @TheTruth.Sky Corban.
Sky Corban. I was trying to rattle in my head what that was. So @TheTruth.Sky Corban.
Heck yeah.
And I was with Steve and Stephanie Helms last night. Stephanie's maiden name is Corban, and she goes, like me? And I was like, no, his is spelled with an A. Yours is with an I. So follow him, support him, help him blow up, share his stuff. If you see it, put it on your stories on Instagram. Share the content. TikTok as well?
My mom likes it. Yeah, they take all my videos down on TikTok.
Do they?
Yeah,
Mine
but
too.
My mom loves my stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm sure. My mom gets mad at me. So yeah.
Yeah, my mom does too. Actually.
Yeah,
she's
my mom's like, could you not?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you know, some things have to be said, Mom. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're gonna tape Overtime as well. So if you're not a subscriber to Blaze TV and you're not watching Overtime, that's where the good conversations really are taking place, because we don't have to go to breaks, which is pretty cool. So subscribe at blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. It'll save you on an annual subscription, and you'll be part of the family. So Scott, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you tomorrow. We love you. God bless you. Bye.